Welcome to the Butler Live Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. This is brought to you by the Butler Automotive Group here in Medford and Ashland, Southern Oregon, since 1976. Owned and operated by Chuck and Linda Butler and managed by managing partner Warren Cooper. We're thrilled to be here today talking about all great things, cars, trucks, SUVs, all of the news. Can't wait to get to it, and very exciting. Of course, we've got Aaron Nielsen in with Creative Services. Aaron, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Craig.
And very excited to have our sales manager, Butler Automotive Group, and Kia guru, Mr. Peter McFadden. Pete, how are you this morning?
Morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Fantastic, fantastic. Peter has been with the Butler Automotive Group 4 days short of 15 years, and he has, you will see him either at the Hyundai store or at the Kia store, at the Acura store, maybe the Ford store, and he has really turned himself in. We called him the Kia guru, and I want to talk quickly about that. But before I do, news you can use, and that is we are socially distanced here in the studio, and sad to say that in Oregon today, looks like Governor Kate Brown is going to require masks in all public places. And Butler Automotive Group has always been concerned about safety for our customers, but also for our employees. We sterilize the vehicles. We don't go on test drives. We're utilizing a borrowed car agreement to protect customers. And it's just the times we live in, and we all wish we could get back. But I wanted to make sure that everyone out there knows that everyone is concerned for safety, and especially the family at Butler Automotive Group. But today, the value line of Kia, the unexpected, exciting product of Kia, comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. The future of Kia, and now the electric vehicles, the EV6. We're going to be talking about that and the current models and news. And it's great to have Peter in. And you are a Kia Master certified professional. And this is fantastic. How long did that take you to do that?
It requires 10 to 12 hours of seminar work on top of your normal certification stuff. So you end up, prior to COVID, it was all fly somewhere and do it. It wasn't really accessible to us here in Oregon, but now we're able to do everything online, makes everything a whole lot smoother, and have been able to do it, and it enhances our delivery processes, our understanding of technology and things like that. So it has helped all of us better understand what Kia is trying to accomplish.
Well, and the Master Certified is the highest level that Kia offers, so congratulations to you, Peter, for that, for working hard. And, this just goes to show the level of expertise at Butler Kia. The unexpected, exciting product of Kia. This is where the value line, let's just cut right to the chase. You bought a 2011 Optima way back, and you were telling us before we came on air, you saw it, you looked at it, you said, fantastic, but you almost wrecked.
I did. I had just bought a brand new Sonata from our other brand and 6 months prior, this car is on the lot. I'm turning into the Kia store to go to work that day, and I couldn't stop staring at it to the point where I almost hit a Kia Soul. I almost killed a Soul, and it seriously was like 2.5, 3 hours later, and the thing was in my driveway. And that car, to this day, I tell everybody I talk to who's looking at a car, that was the best sedan I've ever driven, and as an owner. I've had Acuras, I've had Fords, I've had Hyundais, I've had Kias, I've had Mazda. That car was the best car I've ever had. And it was amazing because that was that turning point. They had just released the Soul. The Optima was the next car they released under Peter Shire's direction at Kia, and they had changed the look of it to be more aggressive and more dynamic, and that car sold me on Kia on the spot.
And this is where Kia Soul, everyone remembers the commercial with the hamsters, right? And that made it that made that big splash. And when did that come out?
I think the hamsters were 2013, 2012, in that time frame. That was really when the Soul started to take off, because they brought it out originally in late 2009 as a 2010, and then it didn't find its footing for the first 2 or 3 years. We sold them, but that generational change happened in 12, 13 time. That's when the hamsters looked like rock stars and superheroes driving down the road in a Soul.
Yeah. This is where this Kia Soul, I mean, I've driven them. I've just drove a 22 model, and these are very affordable. But now with the safety features and how they're loaded, they really are coming with just about everything.
It's amazing where Kia's become. And not just Kia, but let's just look at the evolution of the Soul that I've seen since I've been there. You had a car that originally came out with three trim levels. You know, a manual transmission with hubcaps, a first level with an automatic, and then a level with like an upgraded stereo. That was the entirety of the Soul lineup. Today, you go all the way from, they've gotten rid of the manual transmission for the first time ever. You go from a base model automatic all the way up to a car that's a turbo with almost 240 horsepower and, you know, can have leather and Bose stereos and things like that in it, where you're going, that's a Kia Soul. You know, and there's 6 trim levels.
Well, and they have great headroom in the second row, cargo in the back. I mean, just fantastic MPG, and it really fits. And it was great to even meet Travis, our new Kia representative, yesterday, and he talked about because I asked him the demographic of this Kia. What did he say about that?
Well, it was interesting because one of the things that Kia did when the car first came out, everybody who's going to buy this is going to be under the age of 30. That's what they told us. Under the age of 30, small families, into young people who aren't married yet, who were going off to college. And the funny thing was, and he admitted, he goes, you have the demographic wrong. And he goes, well, yeah, we didn't have it wrong. We just chose to market to everybody. Because if we market to just people who are over the age of 50, the people who are under the age of 50 don't buy it. But if we market to the people who are under 50, the people who are over 50 automatically look at it still.
It's so crazy how mindsets will work with people like that. Going, oh, this is for old people, quote unquote old people. I don't really want that. But you go for young, then anybody wants it.
Right.
It's really interesting how the human mind works that way. Just how you can market something.
We sold more to people over the age of 50 for the first couple years than we did under, and then suddenly that first demographic they told us was going to work that didn't. Suddenly they were buying them just as many, and it was amazing. And that Hamsters were the key to that, because they found a way to connect with that demographic that they hadn't been able to before.
Yeah. You know, back on your master certified, your Kia master certified, level of expertise, that's really something. There's not a lot of people that have spent the time, and this is where the knowledge comes, and this is where the value comes of someone that has an expertise such as yourself with the Kia line, offering value to customers who do have questions. I mean, when you hear of the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, they still have the 5-year 60 comprehensive and the 5-year 60
paint, stereo, all
roadside assistance.
Right.
Exactly. But this is really a value-added service at Butler Kia that we have you here, and you've taken the time to study.
Oh, I've been in the car business for 16 years now, and as a sales guy. I won't talk about my 4 months as a lot attendant at Butler in college.
Exactly. Got to start somewhere.
But, that was a long time ago. But I came on board in the car business 16 years ago when we had earned the reputation of just being car guys. All you did was show up and somebody tried to sell you. Part of this training and certification process is the realization and expertise and to know that you're not a sales guy anymore.
No.
Your job is to inform and consult as you're a consultant, because the reality is no matter how much of an expert I am, I'm never going to tell somebody this is the right car for you, because it's a personal choice on every level.
Right.
And it enables you to better consult, because it's not just specializing in your product, it's the competitive advantages over your competitors and being able to show people the differences and the value beyond just the warranty. The warranty is the easy part of the stuff.
Sure.
You want a car that you don't have to worry about for 10 years, that's easy. But you want a car that actually doesn't need that warranty, that's where Kia comes in. And, it's you have that where they're like, well, we could just back off and shorten our warranty like everybody else has. But they haven't. And I'm not Master Elite certified in only Kia. I'm Ford Master certified. I'm Acura Master certified. I'm Hyundai Master certified. I was Mazda Master certified at some point in my career.
Well, and this, Pete, is why we're actually here today, because of valuable, reliable information getting to the customers, getting to folks, because we've all heard that if you see it on the internet, it must be true. But quite frankly, boots on the ground, when customers come in and they see a vehicle in person and they sit in it, they drive it, and there's so many questions, and we're able to answer them reliably and give them 100% accountability, that there's great value there.
I don't believe not knowing is an answer in our business anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want my salesperson to lie to you or tell you the wrong information. There is no reason with my salespeople, myself, we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard to where you have the knowledge. That's my job. I can't do my job without that knowledge. And that's why Kia's become my focus, is that's the one that has just leaps and bounds moved in the right direction to where everything changes on a every 6-month basis. Kia's doing something new.
Well, and they're doing it. In fact, they've added over the past several years, and now J.D. Power, I'm seeing here, for the past 6 years, #1 mass brand in initial quality by J.D. Power. Kia is really shaking things up, and they've got so many fantastic new models. They started out with the Soul, with the Optima. Now they've moved forward, the Sportage, the Sorento, but they've got the Stinger, that's the sport sedan, and the Carnival, and the Telluride, huge sensation on the Telluride, and we're going to be talking later about the EV6, the all-electric. But what have you seen with these new models, Peter? I mean,
what I've seen is cars that will compete with anything in the world.
Really?
And it's funny because I'm one of those guys who likes the chutzpah of a car manufacturer. So, I will touch on a couple of things. They took a Stinger so fast in reverse on a Super Bowl ad that Steven Tyler finally got younger. I mean, that's accomplishing something.
So yeah,
because he almost looked like a normal person again.
Well, and here's something very unique about this Kia Stinger. And I drove it yesterday. The
green
GT,
one.
Correct.
Ascot green.
Ascot green.
Beautiful
it's a
green.
GT2. It's an all-wheel drive, 3.3 twin turbo, and really sleek styling. And as I looked at it, I had heard this, and Aaron, you had the names of the two designers. One of them came from BMW and one from Audi.
Yep.
Peter Schreier?
Peter Schreier, which I mentioned before, who came from Audi, our designer, and Albert Biermann, who actually came from BMW, two of their main guys. And it was something that Craig, so we were test driving some of these. I'd been in a lot of them. I didn't in all of these cars, but Craig hadn't the updated models. So jumping in all these, the Stinger. And one thing that we talked about, you mentioned as we got out, we're walking around the Stinger, you looked at the back of it and you said, this really looks so European. Well, and it makes sense. Yeah, the things are looking more European because you have two Germans who are in the design team.
And that was the point, was to make their cars stand out. They went and they put Schreier in charge of the company. He was the CEO of Kia for a couple of years, and then he went back to being a designer. But you have these guys who took cars that were, needed a change. You needed to shift the value proposition that Kia was adding from just that car you could afford, that Kia Soul, that great dependable
entry-level vehicles.
Warranty.
Yeah,
you had to. Kia took that value thing and went, well, it's not just the value of our vehicle monetarily; it's the value of our vehicle in that we're going to now build the best looking and cars with all the technology and still be a good value. And they did that, and nobody else has been able to keep up with them on that front. Even their sister company at Hyundai, the cars are more expensive than the Kias. The Kias usually have more content in them than the Hyundais do. Just little tiny things that Kia does just one step different. There's a reason. You mentioned the Telluride. Never has a car been considered World Car of the Year until that car.
World Car of the Year.
It won every Car of the Year award available the year it came out.
Now, Consumer Reports, I've heard the score on the Telluride. Is it 97?
Yeah, it's insane.
That never happens.
No, that hasn't happened since Toyota was paying Consumer Reports for good scores.
Well, and why would
Yeah.
the Telluride, something that's not even on our lot because we can't get them into where the people have already ordered them before we even get to them? Why is that so popular? What do you know about it? Why is it so cool? I've been in it. I know why it's cool. What do you say about it?
Well, it's interesting because I get it from two sides. I get the Hyundai version and the Kia version. The Telluride, what makes it stand out is the aesthetics on the outside are just absolutely insane. I mean, I have not read a review that didn't say it was one of the top 5 best looking cars they've ever seen.
Wow.
That didn't say Lamborghini, Ford, not Ford, Ford GT. You know, like though you get those $200,000+ cars, those are the ones everybody's going, these are the best looking thing on the planet. Suddenly the Kia Telluride.
Well, spacious cabin. This is the SUV that's got third row seating.
It does have third row seating and a bench seat available at the lower trim levels. You can get captain's chairs in the second row. I mean, it still tows 5,000 pounds. I mean, they took it and wanted to make a car that competed with the Pilot, the Explorer, and those cars that for years have that reputation.
Oh, and there's a big drive. There's a big drive on that third row seating. The Pilot, the Explorer. I mean, you go into the Expedition on the Ford end, and then MDX and the Acura line, that third row seating piece. And now Kia is competing head to head, and Telluride vehicles, they're being sold before they even arrive.
Yeah, we have everything we have coming is sold ahead of time. We have 3 or 4 people currently waiting to have their orders picked up by Kia. I'm supposed to put in an order today, and I'm hoping to get enough to fill those orders because every time somebody walks in the door and goes, I want a Telluride, right now we're going, cool, we'll see you November-ish.
Exactly. Now, Aaron, you had a piece on the latest news you could use, Kia sales best July in company history. What is that headline?
That really was the perfect segue. Look at that, ordering Tellurides and how
right.
quickly they're going off the lot. So as Travis, the rep, Kia rep who had come in yesterday, as we mentioned before, July being the Kia America announcing the highest sales in company history. And 70,099 units. The best first half year in sales in history, January to June this year. The Carnival MPV best July performances from K5 Sportage and Telluride. A quote here from Sean Yoon, President and CEO of Kia North America and Kia America. Kia continues to build on the momentum from our record-breaking first half by setting yet another record. Kia sold more than 74% of our available inventory in July, as compared to 34% during the same period last year, a solid reflection of the strong consumer interest in the brand. And you look at these numbers here for the different models between last year and this year.
Yeah, what are the hot sellers?
So the Rio was up 6,000 units. The Forte was up 28,000 units. K5 and Optima was at 15,000 units. Stinger is pretty much right on. That's just so many units. I mean, just so many cars were being sold. 70,000 cars when we have this chip shortage and all this stuff going on.
Well, and
That's
you
amazing.
mentioned something. The Carnival MPV. That's multi-purpose vehicle
It
instead
is
of
not
the
a minivan.
SUV, right?
It's not a minivan. It's not an SUV.
And I drove it yesterday, and we've got pictures of this Carnival. It looks very much like a normal size SUV would be, but we had seating for 8 inside.
Didn't need all of it yesterday.
No, we didn't. No, we
But
didn't.
it was
but I was
nice to
just,
have.
the
Yes.
seating.
No, it's great.
Seating, Peter. The seating is you can take out the center seat, all that kind of great stuff.
Kia. The scary part is Kia makes an 11-passenger version of that van.
Really?
Yeah.
11.
It's not coming out in the United States yet for insurance reasons.
Okay, got it.
Because there's too many passengers at a
You're
certain level.
right.
You have to have different insurance endorsements. But in Korea and Europe, they actually make an 11-passenger. But yes, the seats stow and go in the third row. The second row has a little middle seat that you can actually remove in case you need more cargo space.
Right.
You can take in, and it really is a phenomenal vehicle. The scary part is the one you guys drove yesterday, for as nice of a car as that was a base model.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you should see the full SXL version.
Oh.
Has like reclining seats in the second
center,
row
captain's chairs.
and footrests.
That was the black one.
Yeah, we had a black one originally.
with the really nice quilted
that umber
saddle
interior.
leather.
Yep.
Yeah, very nice.
It was
Very
gorgeous.
nice.
And I want to touch on something Aaron said before we move on from that news topic. One of the things our rep Travis talked about yesterday was like you said, the availability of cars, that number you just said is a key. Because you might be driving by our store right now and go, wow, they don't have very many cars. Well, that number Aaron just said of 70,000 retail units, they can only build 50 a month. If you're only building 50,000 cars a month and you're selling 70 something, there's a reason our lots are empty, because, you know, and the chip shortage isn't it. They only lost 3,000 production slots for the chip shortage. They are selling that well that we can't keep them on the ground. We're selling them as we get allocated cars. We get a car on order, we call somebody and they go, great, here's a deposit. Make sure when that car gets here, it's mine. You know, because that's the kind of, we'll talk more about this at a later podcast.
Probably part 2, yeah.
That is the future of the car business. All the manufacturers are going to stop going from having 300 cars sitting on a lot to having half of that, and you're just going to keep turning it. We turned over 150% of our inventory at our Kia store last month.
See, now this is very interesting. 100%, we get 100%. How in the world do you sell 150% of your inventory? That is a math mind blown right there.
Well, and it is for us because we're not used to it either. We're sitting there going, we have no cars to sell. Yet somehow we started the month of July with 29 Kias in stock. We sold 43.
There you go.
That shouldn't have worked.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't add
because
up.
of orders and things like that. It works when you're talking about sales because it's a product that you just have to get later. One thing I thought really fast, real quick to throw in here, when people say, "Oh, give 110%," you hear it in sports all the time. Give 110%. Well, how you can't give more than everything? But Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld writers, he actually was on with the Los Angeles Lakers. I saw this. It was like a Jay Leno spot, something, where he brought one of the players, Sasha Vujacic. I remember this. And they're on there. He's like, I got to ask you, Sasha, people always say 110%. How can you do that? And Sasha, he was from Eastern Europe. I can't remember which exactly spot, what country, but he was like, you take 10% from the other guy. Well, so that's what
it is. We took our other 50% from the manufacturer as soon as it showed up. I mean, we got on top of our 29, we received 20. We sold, most of those, and every week we hope to receive at least 10, 15 cars, which keeps us able to do what we're doing. If that stops, we got other issues. But right now, that's the way the pipeline's working. Is we're replenishing what we sell. You may not get to drive the exact car you end up buying because it may not be there for 2 or 3 weeks, but we're going to get you the car. It just Kia is doing everything in their power to build them. They just can't keep up.
Yeah. Before we get to the EV6 and the electric, I wanted to talk to something about that we've kind of touched on, but not really, with the brand, the Kia brand, your longevity, your master elite certified status with Kia, and that is the brand loyalty and customer loyalty. What have you seen over the last 10, 15 years, Peter?
Well, I've always enjoyed Kia as a brand because the people who bought into Kia early keep coming back.
So they discovered it early, and they're sticking around.
If you bought a Kia early, what struck you was the service you got from Kia, not just from Butler, but from the manufacturer, because you had that warranty, you had that protection of knowing if something went wrong. You get to 80,000 miles in most cars, and your transmission goes out, you're writing a check for $6,000. With Kia, you get to 80,000 miles, and your transmission goes out. They're going, okay, we'll order you another one. Man. And so the people who've had them have been the guys who've stayed for years. And you don't get me wrong, with the new product we have, we're getting an influx of customers we've never dreamed of before, especially with the Telluride and the Stinger. But with the, that upgrade of cars over the years, and Kia slowly stepping in 2009, 10, when Hyundai bought Kia, everything changed for that brand. Because suddenly they had all this power behind them and this concentration behind them to where everything got better. I mean, never in a million years when I first got in the business 16 years ago did I think I'd say Kia is one of the best products on the market. But I don't have to say it because J.D. Powers has been saying it for 6 years.
Right.
I'm sorry we lost to Porsche twice. But if the only time the only time I'm losing is to Porsche, hey, I think I still won.
That's it. That's it. Well, the customers, the brand loyalty is there, and now we've got Kia. Once again, they've upgraded their logo. They've made it more stylish. They put it on the Stinger. That was the first one with the new logo, and they're switching over. Is there a reason behind that? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a continuation of that evolution. I mean, Kia has had the same basic logo for 30 years,
right?
Basically, and so as you mature as a brand, it's like Kia is where Toyota was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, Toyota was in the catbird seat in the car business when it came to quality, when it came to people having to buy them. Kia's there. Kia is climbing the mountain and getting really close to the top and going, we're not going to settle, and we're going to win this. And part of that is redefining the image of the cars. You have to start with the cars. You start with your marketing. Your things have to mature. And part of that logo is a mature version of Kia, which is where we're at now, to where you're building cars and a brand that is second to none. And if you're not looking at Kia, you're probably missing out.
I drove a Selection. I've been in them before, and I went over yesterday, and the Kia Soul Turbo, that really jumped, and it was very quality inside. The upgraded stereo, the interior styling,
the widescreen screen.
Exactly right, all of that. And then I had heads-up display in the K5 and in the Kia Stinger.
Yep.
And I was just going, wow, this is fantastic. I mean, just very nice styling throughout, and colors just great.
You're looking at a brand that, like I've touched on earlier, the value proposition has changed. When I first got into the car business, I remember hearing those ads. And you guys probably do. Craig, you probably remember helping write these ads because you've been here that long.
That's right.
Haven't been with us all that long in a formal position, but you've been around us for years.
Watching
with our marketing with our marketing company. And so when I say buy a Rio or buy a Sorento, get a Rio for free, I mean, what does that scream? Does that scream best brand on the market?
Buy one, get one free car. That's just
no. It was
very odd.
Just really well. Their entry level marketing is
right,
what that
and
was.
it was. This is how we get a piece of the pie, and so you sit there and you go, the warranty's been there the whole time, so the warranty didn't fix it. So what had to change? The people, the cars, and the way we do it. Kia's done all that. They've gone, okay, here's the best product we can offer you. Do something with it. And the best part is, if we get people looking at them, very rarely do they walk out the door and go, I'm going to go buy something else, because that other thing is usually more expensive and missing features that Kia makes as a standard piece. The safety features are all standard across the board until you get into like the lane keep assist and the highway drive, where, it drives you down the road on its own. You got to pay a little extra for that one. But,
sure.
Blind spot, backup cameras. These are all just things Kia just does automatically. And then you hop in a Telluride and you turn the turn signal on, and it puts a side view camera of your blind spot in the instrument cluster, and you're going, never even would have thought of that.
The Stinger did that yesterday.
Stinger does it as well.
As I turned, I put the blinker on and turned right. I had right in the center console, right there, was a full camera view of where I was going and showing all of the. That was very impressive.
Yeah, and I it's funny. I angered. Forgive me for almost saying pissed off. I'm going to say it anyways now.
Too late.
I angered my Acura store when the Telluride first came out, because I've been with Acura longer than I've been with Kia.
Right.
I was the Acura guru well before I was ever the Kia guru, and we brought the Telluride out to Acura and parked it next to an MDX, and I said, this car is 10 times nicer than that car, because this car is cutting edge and that car is old Honda. And the Acura sales guys were like, that's not possible. I got bad news. I will put the Telluride and the Sorento that's been redone, the new Sportage that's coming out in early January next year, against anything on the market. And if you can find a reason other than like something that just drives you up the wall, I don't like that one body line, I promise you they're as good as anything on the market. And and they come with more protection for you as a consumer.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
know it's
That
been.
Sophia, the Sophia, real quick. Was the
Yeah.
Kia Sophia in the mid '90s. When I was growing up, I was a kid. I was still in school, and I'm looking at my first car. What's going to be my first car? I got to get one, right? Get to high school, and it was like $5,000. It was $4,995. I'm going, I could probably do that. Minimum wage was only $5 at the time, but I'm just like, that's great, because back then it was almost like a cheap thing. It's just really affordable. You don't care. It's going to blend in. The car's just going to blend in like any other sedan.
It's a set of
But
wheels,
it's just,
man.
you need something as that. And a couple interesting things, actually. Kia founded in 1944 as a bicycle manufacturer. They started building bikes. And Kia actually means, in Korean, one that came out of the East or rising out of Asia. Just a couple of
Rising out of
factoids for you. So interesting. But yeah, it was a Kia Sophia, and people are going, huh, what? What is that? They don't make those anymore, of course. There's good reason. But my personal favorite is the Sorento. You dropped that line. The Telluride, I haven't been one in a long time because we haven't had one on the lot for a long time. But the Sorento, I think, is amazing. That just really is just looking at where they've come from and where they are today. These are really nice cars.
Well, yeah, the Sorento, the all-wheel drive. I mean, that's great. Now, I wanted to get to the EV, but you know,
segue.
because the EV6 is everybody's going electric. The technology is such that the range is 300 miles, and the charge stations and the network across the country, in addition to Oregon State rebate $2,500 and federal tax credit of $7,500. The EV6 will probably qualify for that.
Should without a problem. Yeah.
Exactly. But tell us about the EV6, because everybody's jumping on the bandwagon for electric vehicles.
Well, it's funny. I was talking earlier about the chutzpah of a manufacturer. So if I handed you the keys to an electric car and I said, I want you to go park on that line, I'm going to pull 5 cars up next to you and you're going to race them. And you said, okay, that sounds fun. And then you looked to your right and to your left, and there were nothing but $200,000+ supercars surrounding you. And you beat all of them except for the $2 million electric McLaren in an electric Kia. What do you think about that? Because
That's crazy talk.
Because they did it.
They did it.
They did it.
Wow.
What's the 0 to 60? And
It's like 3 seconds. I mean, it's if you take all the safety features off and put it in Sport Plus mode, it's almost under 3 seconds.
What?
For a mass-produced electric car from Kia? It's insane.
Now, what about handling? What about styling? What about technology and warranty and all those things?
All the warranty's the same. That's the good news with Kia, is they're not going to go away from that, because they want to build you the best value car there is. And that's part of that. But here's a car that is completely renewed. Kia's made a commitment to the electric vehicle world. Their plan is to bring out between 6 and 8 more electric vehicles over the next 5 or 6 years. And they've electrified the Sorento in some way. There's a Sorento hybrid this year. There's going to be a Sorento plug-in hybrid, which will get almost 30 miles.
A lot of folks kind of like
electric.
that idea of plug-in, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to electrify a good portion of their line, but they're not going to stop there. They're going to bring out those EVs and make them almost a standalone line. The first one is that EV6, which is a huge upgrade as far as aesthetics and technology. I mean, we're talking giant 12-inch displays on the dash, two of them, and a lot of those self-driving features that you're becoming familiar with because of Teslas and brands like that. But the key the EV6 is focusing on is not just the range, because everybody can get 300 miles out of an electric car.
Right.
Charge time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Charge
How
time
quickly
is
can
off.
you? Yeah.
Big key, because I don't know about you, but I like to go to Portland every once in a while. I like to go to Seattle. I like to go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a 3-day trip just to get there.
Well, isn't it to recharge halfway through less than 30 minutes?
Yeah, the goal for the EV6 is to have an 80% charge on a Tier 3 charger in under half an hour. And they will do it. And I think Hyundai's going to do the same thing on their Ioniq line. But the reality is you have two different technology companies in Hyundai and Kia, because despite the fact Hyundai owns Kia, they don't share a whole lot as far as like they do everything completely differently. I can tell you that from my point of view.
Here's on the Kia website, charges up to 210 miles of range within 18 minutes.
That's the
using
number.
a compatible 800-volt DC fast charger. 18
I was just
minutes.
looking at that too. That's insanity.
Yeah.
And of course,
That's
it has the
amazing.
10-year battery warranty, available dual motor, all-wheel drive, and
You stop to go to the bathroom on a trip, and it's already charged
Yeah,
in
sure,
18 minutes.
stop
It's
for a
already
cup of
charged.
coffee or do whatever.
It's
Exactly.
12 miles.
All those big Tesla chargers
Walk the
you see parked
dog or-
everywhere, those will charge that thing in 18 minutes.
Now,
Wow.
they are on the Kia website talking about the first edition.
Yep.
And just like we talked about ordering, get on the wait list. Join the wait list. Check it out. And many of these manufacturers, if there's any reservation fee or whatever, it's 100% refundable. You can,
Absolutely.
You can cancel at any time.
And the cool thing about I believe the first editions have all sold out. They offered 1,500 of them
Wow.
nationwide. There was only 1,500. I know we have 3 on order at our dealership.
Wow.
We are in the process of upgrading our charging system because we have to, because we don't have a level 3 charger at the moment.
Right.
So we're getting one installed. I think we're supposed to have 2, but I think we're going to start with 1 just to see how it goes, because that's a lot of electricity, and real quick. And so we're going to this is new to us, but we're diving in. I mean, we are going to make sure it works. We've done EVs for years, but the idea of having an entire line of EVs starting with this one, and it's just getting rave reviews.
This electric, it is. And once again, it talks about the brand and being cutting edge and being out there. I mean, this Kia Stinger in this sports sedan, really sharp. The drive modes, I turned it to sport mode, and when I turned it to sport mode, the seat bolsters motorized in, and all of a sudden put me in that type of sport styling race car
Created
seating.
a cockpit.
Exactly. And it was already how wonderful it is, the styling inside, and just how it's working, but the safety, the Brembo brakes, the all-wheel drive. I mean, you get out and look at this thing, you're going, wow.
It's a sexy
Really?
car.
Oh, it is a sexy car.
They
Absolutely.
they are taking simple and redefining it for them. That's the goal. Make us better. And like I said, I told you this up front earlier, I'm not just a Kia guy. But when it comes to a brand that is doing all the right things right now, they're clicking every box, and I see 4 of them on a daily basis.
Well, it is wonderful, Peter, to have you at our fingertips to study these vehicles, to study this line at Kia, to offer this information to customers, the reliable, having the accountability and to back it and to be part of a local community business leader such as Butler Automotive Group. I just think that's fantastic. We've talked a lot with Peter McFadden today and about the Kia brand. Aaron Nilsson, our creative services, has some great news tips. That was fantastic news piece, Aaron. And
It's incredible what they're doing. It really
exactly.
is.
You can find us Butler Live at butlerman.com. That's our email. You can call the store. You can find butlerkia.com is the website to check out selection. And we'll have a next episode on Kia on ordering, what that process is about, and the trending of ordering vehicles, buying before you've ever test drove. That is a new thing for customers. Some customers are going, oh, I'm in. Other customers are going, I want to drive one first and make sure. But when you understand the capabilities of the vehicles and you see the other Kia models on the ground, buying something sight unseen is not that difficult when you consider all the safety features. And here's the wild part. If you were to reserve a vehicle and it was to show up and you're going and you drive it and you go, doesn't fit, or I don't think it's going to work for us. Guess what? Pete, what would you say as the sales manager if a customer came in and said, we really don't like the vehicle?
If you're not happy with it, don't buy it. It's real easy.
Isn't that something? So you can, now you wait for a few months to get it in, but ultimately, if it doesn't fit your family, if your family situation has changed, if anything has changed, even if you have to move, you just call us up and we'll take care of it. But that's really, really interesting. I mean, it's just an amazing process, and that's why we're here, to get you the information reliably with accountability and authentic results. Thank you, everyone, for being in. Aaron, I appreciate you coming in today.
Great as always, Craig.
Peter,
Thank you.
great to take time out of your busy day to sneak by the studio and chat vehicles.
No worries. I can talk cars any day.
All right. You know, our podcast is on Apple and Google Podcasts, so don't miss out on our news and updates. And like I said, our email address, butlerlive@butlerman.com. And so just whatever it takes, we're here for you. And we just look so forward to hearing from you, and find us on Facebook as well. That whole thing is there, and that's why we're here. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be back. We're going to hit the road, and we'll be back with more. The Butler Live Podcast. Find us next time.